Let's learn about willful ignorance. Defined as a decision in bad faith to avoid becoming informed about something so as to avoid having to make undesirable decisions that such information might prompt. This is a favorite tactic of the anti-gun media. They often deploy it when calling the NRA racist. It's one thing to be ignorant. It's a whole nother thing to purposefully try not to learn the facts. Second only to struggling college students who purposefully avoid looking at their bank account balance when pulling money from the ATM, the mainstream media are the most egregious perpetrators of willful ignorance I've ever seen. It's almost overwhelming, as if there's a concerted effort on behalf of those outlets to make the NRA all of these things, whether it's true or not. For ages, the mainstream media have fetishized the idea that the NRA is a neo-Nazi organization. Yet, in 1940, the NRA helped collect over 7,000 firearms to send to the British to help them defend against a potential invasion by Nazi Germany. Last I checked, Nazi sympathizers don't send guns to the people fighting the Nazis. Now let's talk about the NRA being the KKK, or the marauding clan of mouth-breathing idiots, if you want to be specific. The KKK is a domestic terrorist group formed by 6 Confederate veterans post-Civil War, whose goal was to use violence and intimidation tactics to terrorize and kill Black people. The NRA was founded by 2 Union veterans with the primary goal of promoting and encouraging rifle shooting on a scientific basis because they didn't feel the Union soldiers did a good enough job killing Confederate soldiers during the Civil War. Not to mention that guy who led the Union force to victory against the Confederates, Ulysses S. Grant, also served as the 8th president of the NRA. Where the media engages in the most egregious form of willful ignorance is when they push the narrative that the NRA doesn't care about minority gun owners. But the NRA has been fighting for the rights of all gun owners for more than 100 years, including minority gun owners. But because these so-called reporters with degrees from top universities are incapable of researching, I now have to do their job at the risk of pandering to my own people. In 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that Chicago's 28-year-old ban on handgun ownership was unconstitutional. The case was brought in part by a 76-year-old Black man who lived in Morgan Park neighborhood that had been taken over by gangs and drug dealers. The NRA supported and argued on behalf of McDonald, a Black man whose gun rights, according to the mainstream media, the NRA is not supposed to care about. Josephine Byrd, an elderly Black woman, her building was overrun with crime, drugs, and prostitutes. Josephine wanted a gun for protection, but the Wilmington Housing Authority banned their elderly tenants from owning a gun for protection. Did any of the people who claim the NRA doesn't care about minority gun ownership step up and help Ms. Byrd? No, but the NRA did. They helped her sue the Housing Authority, where the Delaware Supreme Court ruled in her favor. Ms. Byrd was later specially recognized at the NRA membership meeting and was also featured in a national TV ad paid by the NRA that, as you guessed, most of the media ignored. None of these examples were exceedingly hard to find. I didn't have to travel to Timbuktu and climb some mountain to locate a secret library where this information was hidden. I simply took 30 minutes of looking past the biased accusations from the anti-gun media, and poof, there it was. But I guess in a day and age of IG memes and 140-character tweets, one can't be pressed to actually research beyond headlines.